We are down to 7 teams here in Salem, and at the conclusion of this game number 6, we'll have trimmed the field to 6. It's our second elimination game on the day. It features the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan and the Profs of Rowan. Lincoln Rose, Megan Turk back with you. Those Titans yesterday were the only designated home team not to move on to the winner's bracket. As a result, they will be a visiting team today, as Rowan was a road team and will have their opportunity to be in the home dugout. One of these teams will have a chance to advance, just as Fisher College did prior to this ball game with a 2-0 victory eliminating St. Thomas. But Megan, we talked about yesterday's game, stingy on runs until this group of Profs came around. They put up 6 runs in a single inning, but ultimately would fall 8-6 in a shootout with Messiah.
Yeah, the Profs did a really good job of trying to come back in that game. They were down 4-0 in the start of the 4th inning, and then scored 6 runs, like you said, back-to-back hits, strung a bunch of hits together, able to put pressure on the Messiah defense. But Messiah came back with an answer of their own and 4 runs in the 4th inning. So an exciting game for Game 4 of yesterday, but IWU did not put a run up on the board. Had some opportunities, left 7 on base.
Yeah, I actually shortchanged Messiah. The final score was 9-6, but 8-6 stands out because Rowan put up 6 in the top of the 4th yesterday to go up 6-4. Messiah in that same inning came back with 4 runs of their own to reclaim the lead and never looked back. But you talk about this Illinois Wesleyan squad led by head coach Kat McCreary, who played for them, graduated back in 2004, now in her 3rd year at the helm, a 3-time all-conference catcher in the CCIW for the Titans. As we get you their starting lineup, Titans will have Sam Goodat, the shortstop, leading off. You see Sam right there. Laura Bonds on deck. Mary Rankin in the hole. Danielle Smith will back cleanup for coach. Julie Jostin and Katie Caulfield, the middle third of the lineup. Maggie Graham, Sarah Platt, and Jillian Runyon complete the 9 in the lineup. They'll be facing Beth Ann Holland in the circle for a 2nd straight day for Rowan. As we talk about Beth Ann Highland, the ace of this squad, 25-5 on the year, 1.4 ERA. Has struck out 162 batters. Opposing hitters are hitting 205 against number 22.
Well, she had the starting spot yesterday. Ended up giving 4 runs up to Messiah, but we'll see her change. She has a bit of a rise, and she'll also utilize a drop, so changes her location vertically.
Subsequent pitch as the count now 2-1. Goodat, first team all-conference in the CCIW this year for the conference champion Titans, and the sprinklers come on to celebrate the first strikeout of the ball game.
You don't see that often at all, and you know what? We're probably not going to need that the next couple days with all the rain that is forecasted to come. But here's a nice look at the strikeout pitch. It's the sprinklers. It's a curveball in the outside corner.
That's what that's what happens when you're throwing heat.
It's hot out here. You might as well turn the sprinklers on.
Our umpires are going to talk something over as some members of the NCAA softball committee may have expressed some concerns. Let's get you a look at the defense that surrounds Beth Ann Highland. Sims behind the plate. It's her battery mate. DeYoung at third, Snead at short, Anderson at 2nd, Mercado at 1st. Valdesari is the left fielder. Vradenberg is in center today. Smith in right. Vradenberg was not scheduled to make the start, but Janello apparently fell ill just prior to the game. And this ball down the left field line is foul. Laura Bonds at the plate, the offensive player for IWU. As a foul ball behind the count. Bond's out of Decatur, Illinois, now a senior. This is her second year with the program. Well, sprinklers came on today, but there's been some concern with Tropical Storm Bonnie moving in this weekend, and that has actually already altered the tournament schedule. Tomorrow we were scheduled just to see 2 games, but it has been doubled. We'll see another 4 games tomorrow. It means the teams that come out of the winner's bracket tonight at 2-0 in the tournament will have to play again tomorrow. They will not get tomorrow off, as the committee's trying to make sure all games get in a fairly timely manner.
Well, that's an unfortunate break for the winners. That Saturday off is always a really nice reward after you won your first 2 games. But there's really not much else you can do with the rain that's forecasted and the tropical storm coming. So you want to be able to finish this championship game without, or the championship tournament without a couple days of rest and of really just waiting around for the storm to clear.
Here's Mary Rankin trying to get things started for Illinois Wesleyan. DeYoung has it off her glove, recovers across the diamond, and it just takes 1 pitch to record the 3rd out. 3 up, 3 down for Beth Ann Highland. As the Profs, the home team today, will have a chance to bring their bats to the plate, and it will begin with one of the nation's finest leadoff hitters, Shilah Snead, when we return, trying to set the table for Rowan. Shilah Snead, one of the 10 finalists for NFCA Division III Player of the Year. She will try to lead things off here. At the top of the lineup for Rowan. Baldessari in the 2 spot. Ashley DeYoung will bat 3rd. I misspoke. DeYoung was not the 3rd baseman. That was Piotti, who was very active yesterday at 3rd for Rowan.
We got to see a look at Snead's speed on the bases. We saw her steal 2nd to 3rd base and then kick the ball out of the heel of the glove. Was able to advance inside the base pass. She was just got up and ran for it and went home, was able to score. That was part of their 6-run 4th inning yesterday.
Yeah, she can create havoc. She's a .482 hitter, All-American, slugging .747. 33 stolen bases coming into this week. The 2-0. The pitcher is Mackenzie Marquis for Illinois Wesleyan. A 2.37 ERA, 17 wins to 6 losses. This one sent for a ride out towards left, will carry, and goodbye. There will be no chance to steal bases this trip around, as Snead, the All-American for the 9th time this year, goes deep. And she gives the Profs an early lead. It's the quickest score we have seen here in Salem.
And Snead goes up in the zone, keeps her hands above the ball, and is able to just send that over the left field fence and welcomes Marquis to the National Championship Tournament. Rowan starting off where they left off last night. 6 runs yesterday, already won with no outs in the 1st inning.
And it brings up the left-handed bat of Mia Baldessari. Baldessari batting .339 this year, with a couple of home runs of her own. How's that as a punch to the gut? You're trying to keep Snead off the base paths. Well, she didn't stay on them very long.
No, she didn't. And she didn't have to speed around the bases like she did last night.
Hangs up in foul territory, but it'll get down. 1-2 the count.
And Marquis, the sophomore in the circle, she has a screwball that she likes to go to. And we got a chance to talk to Coach McCreary last night or yesterday, and she said that every pitch that she throws, she has the same exact movement, which makes it difficult for pitchers, or excuse me, for hitters to try to predict what pitch is coming.
Rowan, your NJAC champions this year. They are 40 wins, 10 losses on the season. Their best finish, 1993 and 1994, they finished 4th overall. This gets through the right side. Back-to-back base hits. A single for Baldessari as Graham will knock it down and send it back in.
Baldessari being so tall, that's a tough pitch to hit if you're the left-handed hitter. She absolutely drops her barrel and sends that drop ball in between first baseman and second baseman over there in Bonds and Platt.
And she's 5'10". Was able to get down to that. Here's Ashley DeYoung. First team All-American. Mentioned her birthday coming up on Sunday. Ashley, a .359 hitter coming into today. 12 home runs, is the leader on this team. Have we seen a home run recently?
We've seen a couple in the past 2 days.
We saw 2 yesterday, 2 today. Of course, her teammate Shilah Snead hit her 9th a few moments ago. The base runner is Baldessari and nobody out.
DeYoung had a really good day yesterday. Had a couple of hits to record, but every time she got a hit, she would look back at the dugout because they were trailing at least 4-0 or 8-6. Every time she'd get a hit, she'd look back in the dugout and say, "Come on, let's go," and try to get her team fired up.
Ashley 2 for 4 yesterday, had 2 of the team's 8 base hits. The Profs would strand 5. And it's been a rough outing here early on for Mackenzie Marquis. Has faced 3 batters, no outs to show for it. A home run, a single, and now a walk. And they are going to run for DeYoung. For Rowan, the pinch runner is Rosalie Hood, a sophomore out of Egg Harbor City, New Jersey. Saw Hood run yesterday. As Hood did score 1 of the 6 runs that we saw in that explosive top of the 4th inning for Rowan. Here's Morgan Smith, 9 home runs on the year. Now tied for second with Snead. Runner on second is Baldessari. Runner on first is Hood. And the happiest person right now is Beth Ann Highland back in the dugout. She'll be pitching in the 2nd inning with a lead. Will she have insurance?
Marquis just continues to fall behind the Profs hitters. We've seen 2-0 counts, 3-0 counts, where she has to come back with a strike in that 3-1 count to avoid a walk. That makes it more difficult. That makes you vulnerable as a pitcher. If you fall that far behind in the count, then you have to throw it over the plate to ensure a strike, which makes the pitch look even better to a hitter.
Here's a 2-1. Swung right through it. And fortunately, they have backup from the center fielder, Runyon. Illinois Wesleyan up in Bloomington, Illinois. Their head coach grew up about an hour and a half away, Kat McCreary, before she became a career Titan. We had a chance to chat with her yesterday before their game. And she was on the 2003 team that made it to the national championship as this ball squeezed in by her left fielder, Rankin. There's the first out here in this afternoon's elimination game. Brings up Carly Anderson, 1 for 3 yesterday with a walk and a run scored. Runners still on second and first for the Profs. In there, 1-1. into the glove of Caulfield and unable to double off the base runners. But a nice recovery here as last two batters retired.
And a heads-up play from Caulfield. As soon as she caught that ball, she was trying to throw it back over to second base after the line drive to double off Baldessari over at second. Just not in time.
Damaris Mercado now up at the plate. Had 2 runs batted in yesterday. 1 for 2 with a run scored out of the 6th spot. Runner on second is Baldessari. She had a single. Runner on first is Hood. Pinch running for D. Young, who walked. The 2-0. Called strike. This inning began with a leadoff home run by Shilah Snead here in the home half of the first inning. Her 9th, giving Rowan a lead. And just got a piece of it.
A little bit different than the first game we saw today. We had to wait till the last couple innings to see any runs scored. A lot left on base between those two teams, but
and not able to get the outside edge. So we know the ramifications for the team that doesn't win this game. The team that, however, does prevail will move on to tomorrow and face the loser of tonight's game between UT Tyler and Emory. That will be the reward for fighting off elimination today. Both the Patriots and the Eagles with some great pitching. Full count and a strikeout for Marquis. So in the end, only the 1 run comes home as Shilah Snead drove herself home with the leadoff home run. It was 3 batters to reach before the first out was recorded, but a fly out, a line out, and then a strikeout. Ultimately slams the door shut on the bottom half of the first. The Profs take a lead into the top of the second, and in the circle to defend that lead when we come back, Beth Ann Highland to face the middle third of the lineup for IWU. We welcome you back to Moyer Sports Complex here on field number 1. The exclusive site of this week's games, whether it be 14, 15, 16, or even 17. As a lot of stories and highlights still yet to unfold, you imagine, over this upcoming week. As we look to crown a champion, it is a new champion from the past 3 years. Tufts, the Jumbos, who last year on this field won their 3rd consecutive Division III softball title. Unable to make it out of their own regional this year after some graduation of some great talent over the past couple of seasons. MIT makes it out of that part of the country instead. And we'll see the Engineers next in the winners bracket. MIT able to send Illinois Wesleyan into this ball game today. Could have just as easily been the other way around. First baseman for Rowan, Mercado underneath it, and Danielle Smith, the cleanup hitter, is the 4th straight batter retired by Beth Ann Highland in this defense. We'll bring up Julie Jostin. The second team all-conference freshman in the CCIW. Batting .309 this year. 8 home runs to lead the team. Opposite way, count even, 1-1.
Helen doing a good job of mixing up her pitches against the Titan hitters. We've seen her go down in the zone, up in the zone, or drop and rise, utilizing her off speed occasionally.
Coyote across the diamond. And the first two batters retired here in the second.
The third baseman, number 4, Katie Caulfield.
Gives away to Katie Caulfield, who was 0 for 3 yesterday. Facing MIT's Lexi Marshall in the circle. First pitch swinging, Snead at short, long throw. And having to settle for one base will be Caulfield, and we'll see how they rule it. They're going to give it a straight-up error on the shortstop. Saying a good throw from Snead would have had it.
On this ball, just a little dribbler over to Snead. Fields it perfectly and cleanly, and then that ball just gets away from her, and no chance for Mercado over at first base to haul that one in.
Official score has been pretty consistent. A chopper, and one pitch later, no damage done. Caulfield stranded. Maggie Graham quickly grounded out to the right side. In the top of the second, complete. Rowan defends the one-run lead. We'll have a chance to build on it when we come back to Salem. You're watching live coverage of the 2016 NCAA Division III National Championships here on NCAA.com. Nicole Piotti out of the 7th spot will lead things off against Mackenzie Marquis, who faced 6 batters in the first. She's trying to regain the form that she had back in the regional when Illinois Wesleyan swept Hanover, Washington University, and DePauw. She went 18 innings, allowed 1 unearned run during that span. Super Regional, a bumpier road through just 9 pitches in her start against Luther, and was quickly pulled. They would go on to lose the first game to Luther, but win in games 2 and 3, including a dramatic comeback in game number 2. Fantastic effort for Illinois Wesleyan.
Well, luckily for Illinois Wesleyan, when Noland has not been on and Highland has been on, so one or the other, whichever one has the stuff that day and their pitches are working and they're getting ahead of hitters, that's who's going to get the starting job. And we thank Stu over at IWU for this note. This is not the first time that these two schools have met here in Salem. 1996 in the basketball semifinals, Rowan beat Illinois Wesleyan 79-77 over there at the Salem Civic Center. The next night, Rowan would go on to defeat Hope for the national championship. Illinois Wesleyan would play in what was still then a consolation game to finish third against Franklin and Marshall. So 79-77. I don't know if we'll be that quite as high scoring of a ball game, though Rowan showed that potential yesterday with a 6-run inning. See if it comes down to free throws here tonight. This ball sent for a ride, but pulled foul. Rowan with that Shilah Snead leadoff home run last inning. They would strand 2 as the first 3 batters reached. The subsequent 3 all retired. 2-2. Marquis just under 30 pitches that first inning. Little over half of them for strikes. So we'll test the shortstop, good at. And that throw on the mark to the glove of Platt. And a routine ground ball over there, shortstop, good at. Picks the ball up and throws it over first, kind of up the first baseline. So that's actually a pretty good play by Sarah Platt to haul that one in.
Still working her way through this lineup for the first time. Marquis, here's Alyssa Sims, the number 8 hitter, your catcher for Rowan. Perhaps Marquis is settling in now. The last 4 Rowan batters have been retired.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remind to return any ball that is hit out of the field of play to the NCAA Tournament Committee atop the third base dugout, just like that.
No balls, 2 strikes in the hole. The left-handed hitter Sims not chasing outside. Rowan went 3-1 in their regional. The final 3 games against SUNY Cortland. And a line out to the left side. Means 2 up, 2 down. Rowan then would travel to Ithaca and pick up a sweep in the Super Regional. Make their way here to Salem. Rowan, a program with over 1,100 wins, sitting on 1132 right now. And a little half-hearted swing, trying to get contact for Vredenberg. In Vredenberg, a late change in the lineup in the 9 spot as the center fielder in place of Janello. And you can see that's strategic for Vredenberg. Trying to get enough contact to pop it over the head of the infielders coming up.
Oh, trying to place it on the left side somewhere between the 5-6 hole or just barely out beyond the dirt in the infield. The fielder Rankin is pretty close to that dirt, maybe 10, 15 feet away.
She's a .333 hitter. As this Rowan lineup loaded with great options at the plate. 2-2 got a piece of it. Piotti and Sims retired in order. The number 9 hitter Vredenberg at the plate right now with nobody on and 2 outs, facing Mackenzie Marquis, who has retired the last 5. Profs with the defense behind her. 2-2. And you have IWU fans screaming, "That's a bunt." They want the 3rd strike called, but you're not going to get that call.
That's definitely a slap that she's attempting.
And the count has gone full.
The Profs have done a good job of really working the count against Marquis. They've taken her deep into the count, 2-2, 3-2 as we see another foul ball. This will be probably the 10th or 11th pitch of this at bat alone, just how many foul balls that she's done. But that will come back to hunt and bite IWU in the later innings. Good news for the Titans is that they do have Highland on the bench to bring in.
Batter's out. I think the ruling is that she was out of the batter's box when she made contact. So that will be the 2nd inning. 3 up, 3 down. 2 complete. Rowan hanging on the 1-0 lead as you get another look. And it looked like if the line was still there, she was still in. Our understanding is Vredenberg was ruled out of the batter's box. Did not appear to be the case there.
Well, your foot has to be entirely out of the batter's box, and even though the line is kind of hard to see on this, it looks like she would have been on the line with that left foot. But still a tough call for Annette Bergman behind the plate.
Easier to swallow when you still have a 1-run lead.
And easy for us to sit up here and dissect it. We have replay at slow motion, but live time, that's a tough call to make.
First pitch swinging over to the first baseman Mercado, and Sarah Platt is retired on 1 pitch. The number 8 hitter will take a seat. Gives way to the Titans' number 9 hitter Jillian Runyon, center fielder. Runyon, a .313 hitter. Yesterday, 0 for 1. They pinch hit for her later in the ball game.
And if they can get her on base, she has a ton of speed. She's got 40 stolen bases on the year. She's only been caught twice the entire season.
The 0-2. Punched into right, and that's a fair ball. And you will get your wish, a chance to see Runyon on the base paths with 1 away.
And takes an outside pitch, a couple balls off the plate over the right side of the field, just a couple feet in from that foul line, but that's her call all the way, whether or not she wants to run to second base. That ball's in front of her, she can see it. She goes about halfway between first and second, waits for the throw from Morgan Smith over to Snead at the shortstop position, but she sticks over at first base, so the Titans runner on first, top of the third.
Coach McCreary will talk to her base runner and her hitters. Meanwhile, Nate Parsley is in the circle, the assistant coach for Rowan. Obviously, that runner on first represents the tying run, and that means Sam Goodat at the plate would represent the first lead of the day for IWU.
This is a time for the Profs to be careful defensively and be on your toes. You've got a lot of speed over there at first base in Runyon. Would not be surprised if, one, see a sacrifice bunt, or two, see her stealing.
Good at 0 for 4 yesterday, now 0 for 5 here in Salem. That's a foul ball, hit her on the foot in the batter's box. So 0-1 the count with one away. Sarah Platt grounded out on the first pitch this inning. Jillian Runyon with a single is on first now. So the number 9 hitter able to come through with that single into right. Our umpires are going to come together. Again, these are some of the best selected. If anything, it looks like they're communicating to the dugout a warning.
Well, yesterday we saw a bunch of the coaches, assistant coaches, kind of hanging out outside the dugout. I think this is just an effort for the umpires to get them, and for their own safety, for the safety of the players on the field, to get them back in the dugout. But it's hard to be contained in such a high-pressure game like this.
Well, it's an NCAA postseason rule, and I know during conference play it may not be as enforced as strictly, but here at the championship, they try to keep it all under the regulations, and part of that is we did hear yesterday some talk of too many coaches kind of hanging around, and in part it makes it more confusing for the umpires who's supposed to be communicating with them and who's not. They throw out, and they say they got her. That's one of those where, yes, Runyon was guilty of drifting away from the base, but we're going to have the benefit of a replay. Runyon is not convinced that she did not get her hand in there in time.
And this is a pitch out for Sims to have a nice throw over to first base to try to get Runyon out. It's a good tag by Mercado over there. That's a tough call, though.
Yeah, that's one of those where the ball got there first. Not so sure if the tag actually did beat Runyon to the base.
Either way, that's a nice throw from Sims and a good tag from Mercado to get Runyon, the speedster, out on first.
One pitch later, and that one drops down. You would have had 2 on with 1 away. As Sam Goodat is on. Yeah, design pitch out. Sims throws it down to Mercado, and they get the desired out. Now Sam Goodat is on, 1 for 2 today. Laura Bonds comes up to the plate. Bonds grounded out to third. Back in the first inning and a 3-up, 3-down inning. Beth Ann Highland in the circle for Rowan. Came into the second with a lead. She faced 4 batters. This is the 4th batter now here in the third. As the tying run is on first base right now.
Senior transfer from Lincoln Land Community College. She was a newcomer of the year last year.
Sounds amazing. 1-1. That ball is fair. And they're going to look to take an extra 60 feet apiece. Wow, aggressive base running by the Titans. Goodat goes to third. Bonds takes 2 bases.
And that should go down as a double for Bonds. Takes a high pitch on the outside part of the plate, just inches in front of that foul line. Coach McCreary not even hesitating to get her athlete, Goodat, over to third base and put her Titans in a really good position to score here with 2 outs in the top of the third.
Tying run is a wild pitch or a pass ball away.
And that's really unfortunate. Runyon being picked off over at first base. That would have easily scored her from second had she still been on base.
Here's Mary Rankin, the number 3 hitter. Batting .333 on the year. And 2 for 3 yesterday. Looking to come through with 2 outs. Back-to-back 2-out base hits for IWU, the Titans of Illinois Wesleyan. The 1-1 will miss. Again, season on the line. In this ball game, our second elimination game of the day. That ball chopped foul. A reminder, if that ball hits the base runner, as long as she's in foul territory, Sam Goodat's still in good shape.
Get a good look at this. She is in foul territory, and a lot of coaches, most of these coaches, will teach you to take all of your leads in foul territory for that reason specifically.
2-2, lofted into foul territory, and the count will hold.
Rankin, the senior, also a transfer.
Beth Ann Highland trying to get out of this inning. Just tight, full count. A ground out, a single, followed by another single and a double, but again, a runner picked off first. Has 2 on, 2 out. Up the middle, Snead. And the Profs still with that 1 run intact to their advantage. Titans strand 2.
No errors and 2 runners left on base.
Titans came close to tying or possibly taking a lead, but it's still 1-0 in the NCAA Division III Softball National Championships. 8 teams started play yesterday. This is our second elimination game. St. Thomas was the first team ousted, your national champions back in 04 and 05. As the pitching of Lindsay Thayer, a sophomore, the nation's leader in strikeouts, has kept Fisher still going. The Cardinals waiting to find out whom they will play from the winner's bracket, whoever loses tonight, between MIT and Messiah. That game is next. Of course, Snead is the difference on the scoreboard. That leadoff home run in the bottom of the first. We spent so much time talking about her speed. That gives her 9 home runs. This one will not get out, but Snead will get on. And I'm guessing it'll be an error.
The left fielder, number
That's a tough play.
34,
Caulfield over at third base,
Mia
coming over. I like that aggressiveness and that decision from her. She just looks like she's too high up. She doesn't stay down on the ball enough to field it. And get Snead out over at first. Just the speed from Snead, you really have no opportunity to hesitate on those kinds of balls.
They still have not officially ruled, as from what we've seen in this tournament, the benefit has not gone to the defense on a close call. Spraying around the bunt, pulling it back. Again, Snead has 33 stolen bases. So even if you don't move her over on a bunt, she is a threat. They still have not indicated the ruling on how Snead has reached. This is the only sport where we linger over something like that. Rowan doesn't care what the answer is. They've got Snead on. It is going to be an error. So perhaps the debate is whether it's on the third baseman or the shortstop. Nope, they have made it a hit now. I was looking at the official box score that has her at 1 for 2. But after all of that base hit, and frankly, that's probably the right ruling with her speed. Mia Baldessari had a single back in the first, 1 for 1 today.
Baldessari in her last at bat, if you remember, she's what, 5'10", and she was able to drop her barrel on a drop ball that was just inches above the ground and get a base hit over to right field. But Marquis going up in the zone with her right now.
2-2. Count goes full. And Snead has the attention of Smith behind home plate. Nobody out. This inning began with the top of the order. Misses low, and after the single by Snead, it's a walk to Baldessari. So Snead will trot into scoring position, and now a variety of base hits could bring her home for insurance. And the first teammate with that opportunity will be Ashley DeYoung, who walked back in the first inning. This is a lot like the first inning. First 2 batters have reached. In the first, we saw the first 3 hitters reach. So the dynamic right now is the corners were charging in. That means the middle infielders have to cover the corners and expose second base. And that pitch merits the strike call on its own. 1-1. Snead on second, Baldessari on first. And DeYoung does get this bat down. And a successful sacrifice. Snead goes to third, Baldessari to second. And that is the first out recorded here in the third inning, but a good one.
We've seen DeYoung hit on all sorts of fields the past 2 days, but does a good job of getting that sacrifice bunt down, move her teammates over to second and third, have 2 runners in scoring position.
Well, the play here apparently is a priority at home. It would require a tag, but the shortstop and second baseman are both cheating up. The 1-0 pitch to Morgan Smith, your cleanup hitter. The sacrifice fly would score 1 run. With Snead on third. We'll see if they're looking for more. 1-2. So a single, a walk, and a sacrifice bunt. A nice developing inning here for Rowan. Looking to pair another run or two with that solo shot back in the first inning from Snead, who stands on third right now. And just protecting the play to Smith.
And even with 2 strikes, the Titans defense is still inside of the base pass, trying to cut down that angle, and if a ground ball gets to them, keep Snead from scoring from third.
Marquis will again have another 1-2 count coming up.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we remind fans
McKenzie had retired 6 straight before this inning.
Atop the third base dugout.
Before the single and the walk. Smith pulls this down the line, and this will bring home a couple of Profs. Snead has touched. Behind her, it's Baldessari. And it's a 1-out, 2-run double off the bat of the cleanup hitter, Morgan Smith. The Profs have insurance. They lead by 3.
And Smith just extending her hands, powering through that pitch that's left too much over the plate. All the way down the right field fence, easily scoring Snead and Baldessari from second and third base. Gives the Profs a 3-run lead. It's a nice lead to work with if you're Highland.
It's the largest advantage Rowan has had in Salem these past 2 days. Here's Carly Anderson lined out to left side. Now fouls back and out of play. A single, a walk, a sacrifice bunt, and a 2-run double. As Smith on second. And the 0-2 pitch will miss low to Anderson. Carly out of Nutley, New Jersey, a freshman. At the university with an enrollment of about 15,000. As that one sent over to Josen. I thought it was on the fly. She threw over to the bag just in case.
Well, Carly Anderson hit that ball maybe an inch or 2 off the ground, that drop ball that came to her. So I think it's a smart play by Bonds over at second base just to make sure that was an out.
The runner Smith had to hold here at second. Damaris Mercado struck out in the first. 1 strikeout today for Marquis. Allowed 4 hits, 3 runs. All of them are earned. As Snead was credited with a single to lead off this inning. Now all of a sudden, Megan, 3 balls, no strikes. See if Mercado gets something to swing at, or if she'll keep the bat on her back shoulder. Ball 4. Second walk this inning.
The third baseman, number 6, Nicole Coyote.
And here's your third baseman out of the 7th spot, Nicole Coyote. And just as I say that, the top prof. She's got tenure.
Guess you could call her the dean.
Yeah, Kim Wilson. Her 20th year is going to go to Angela Antonini, a freshman.
Your attention, please. Pinch hitting for Nicole Coyote, number 36, Angela Antonini.
Coyote was 0 for 1 with a ground out to the shortstop to lead off last inning. This is the 7th batter here in the 3rd for Rowan. They have already scored 2. But a 4-pitch walk a moment ago to Mercado. That's 5 straight pitches that had missed the strike zone. It's our first time to see Antonini here in Salem. Pitch in there for a strike. She's a .250 hitter. It's her 16th game this year to make an appearance. With 12 at-bats, 3 base hits thus far. One of them, though, cleared the outfield wall. And this one may follow. back towards the wall, feeling her way up and making the grab. Oh, Rankin measures it just right and waits for the ball to finally come down to her leather.
In the third, 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors,
It will
and 2
strand
runs
a pair of
left
base
on
runners
base.
for the Profs, but Rowan still adds 2 in the bottom half of the third.
And this ball just continues to carry and carry, and Rankin feeling for the fence out there. And you know what, it's hard to tell whether or not that robbed a home run. We'll get a good look at it. I don't think it would have gone out, but still a great, phenomenal catch from Rankin and the senior out in left field.
May not have gone out, but with runners on second and first going with 2 outs, it saved you at least 2 runs.
For an inside look at today's championship. Please, ladies and gentlemen, for Rowan, returning to the game at third base, number 6, Nicole Piote. And leading off the 4 and 4 Illinois Wesleyan, the catcher, number 31, Danielle Smith.
Well, back in the circle for Rowan is Beth Ann Highland, and she has the benefit of some insurance runs now. Could have had even more. A great defense putting it into that last half inning by the Titans. 2 balls, no strikes. As Danielle Smith, the cleanup hitter, is leading off here in the 4th inning. She popped out 0 for 1 today. That ball bites her in the box.
And the Titans really still looking to get some offensive production, even though they do have 3 hits today so far. Just have not been able to capitalize on runners in scoring position.
Yeah, they have now stranded 3 in the last 2 innings. They brought 5 to the plate last inning. The 3-1. That's a leadoff walk. First time today the Titans have their first batter on.
Number 11, Julie Jostin.
See how critical those insurance runs prove to be. There's Julie Jostin, 0 for 1 today, with a ground out to the left side. First pitch in there for a strike. In a double elimination tournament, 8 teams. As it's been trimmed down to 7, as St. Thomas goes 0 for 2. Losing yesterday to Emory, and today falling to Fisher. That's a foul ball. One, 2 from Highland. We'll even up the count.
Highland's been pretty efficient so far today. I know we talk a lot about pitch count. Had about 33, 34 coming into this inning. But she hasn't really fallen behind other than this, the at bat against Danielle Smith, who she just gave a walk up to.
That was the first walk. She's also struck out 1. This will be foul. Of the 13 batters she's faced, 3 base hits allowed. She has been working with a lead ever since the bottom of the first leadoff home run by one of the top players in the country, Shilah Snead. This ball will get through, and there's 2 on with nobody out.
And here's a chance for the Titans to really get something going. Nobody out right now. This ball just over the plate. Sends it through the 5-6 hole to Jostin. So it'll be interesting to see. We've seen the Titans and Coach McCreary very aggressive on the base pass. So is she going to sacrifice her runners over and Smith bringing her to third, Jostin bringing her to second base?
Pitching change for Rowan, as they will pull Beth Ann Highland, bring in Mackenzie Jeditis, the freshman that we saw yesterday.
Jeditis actually had a pretty good outing, the best of the three pitchers from Rowan that we saw yesterday. Only gave up a hit, but we'll see her utilize a screw. She also goes downstairs with a drop and then upstairs with her rise.
Yeah, yesterday she was the third pitcher we saw. The first two went 1 2/3 innings apiece. And Jeditis would allow just one run. It was earned on one base hit through the final 2 2/3 that she worked.
Your attention, please. Now pitching for Rowan.
53 pitches thrown yesterday by the freshman. See if Jeditis can help close out this ball game.
And for the Rowan pitching staff, they gave up 5 walks alone yesterday. Highland, Nolan, and Jeditis combined. So for the Profs, really need to eliminate those free bases.
Katie Caulfield will be the first batter to see Jeditis. She reached on the shortstop's error back in the second. Shows bunt, cannot get it down on the first try. Illinois Wesleyan, back-to-back innings now with multiple base runners. Tying run at the moment is this young lady Caulfield with the bat in her hands. The 0-1's in there for a strike. And it's unlikely we'll see Caulfield squaring around. Up the middle. It'll get down. And bases will be loaded with nobody out for the Titans. Nobody scores as Danielle Smith was holding up to make sure that ball was not caught.
And this ball just goes right back up the middle. Danielle Smith thinking that second baseman might have had a chance at that in Anderson, but I don't think that was close. But Coach McCreary was sending her home the entire way. Danielle Smith going to tag just in case and has to hold up at third.
The tying run is on. Maggie Graham comes up as a potential go-ahead. Of course, Titans still have yet to get on the board. Graham, the number 7 hitter out of Wheaton, Illinois. She got out of the backyard of a pretty good Division III athletic department. Instead of being a part of the Thunder, here with the Titans, decision appears to be paying off. She has 14 RBI, 1 home run on the year. Bases loaded. Force at home. They'll go to first as they were not going to be able to get it in time to beat Smith, who is quickly down the line. So the Titans are on the board. They've cut the lead to 2 as they trade an out for a run.
Well, Maggie Graham just barely getting a piece of this ball. Coyote over at third, smartly sending it over to first base and making sure she gets the sure out.
Yeah, it looked to be the right decision. Now you no longer have a force with nobody on first. Runner on third is Jostin. Second is Caulfield. Sarah Platt lofts this one to the shortstop Snead. And Rowan is 1 out away with Jeditis in the circle from getting out of this inning, just allowing 1 run. obviously trying to bunt to get on was Runyon.
Well, we talked about her speed, but if you remember back in the third inning, she did get on with a single out into right field and then was picked off by Sims behind the plate.
Again pops one up, and she'll no longer have that option to square around. You always have the option, but another foul ball would be an out. Two on, tying run and scoring position for the Titans. Piote has it. Illinois Wesleyan gets on the board. They score one in the top half of the fourth, but the Profs plated two the last half inning, and they hang on to a 2-run lead in this elimination ball game. And Rowan is back at the plate when we return here on NCAA.com for the home half of the fourth. Well, the Titans are on the board. They're back within two. It's a 3-1 ball game heading into the bottom half of the fourth inning. As Rowan back at the plate. And both teams now have moved away from their starting pitchers. For Illinois Wesleyan, this is Jenna Nolan, one of the 3 pitchers we saw yesterday for IWU. A second-team all-conference performer now in her senior year. She was second-team all-conference, but first-team all-region as named by the NFCA.
And similar to Fisher's sophomore pitcher in Thayer, she does throw a low rise, but also goes to an off speed and her changeup, and then a curveball also a go-to.
Nolan pitched 1 2/3 yesterday in relief. Gave up 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, walked 2. And pardon me, I've got my Nolan and my Nolan mixed up. No. I can feel the looks. No, for Jenna Noland, pardon me. She comes in with a 2.0 ERA, 14-5 on the year. She was the starter yesterday. Went the full 7 innings. Struck out 3 of the 25 batters she faced. Allowed just 2 runs, 1 earned. That's the difference in a single consonant. Up the middle, and it'll be a leadoff single for Alyssa Sims.
She welcomes Nolan to the game. Sims just gets enough of this ball to send it over second base, barely surpassing the dirt.
And here's Sammy Vredenberg. She looks over to her head coach for the new sign. In all likelihood, it's much of the same. Sims on first. Infield playing up, expecting the bunt. 1-1. Presumably it's the second baseman's responsibility to cover the bag if the runner goes. But she's playing halfway to first right now, anticipating the bunt. It's a fair ball, throw to first, they get the out. Credit Caulfield, recognized that ball was going to stay fair, had to respond quickly if she was going to have a chance to beat the runner down the line. It's a successful sacrifice bunt, but you do get the out.
And that's a tough play and a close call over at first base. Caulfield, it looked from our angle, if you had just let it continue to roll, that it was going to go foul.
Yeah, I'm not convinced there's enough steam on that ball that it wouldn't have died, though, in fair territory.
But a bang-bang play and a great job from Caulfield to get the out over at first base. The speedy Vredenberg.
Well, here's Shilah Snead. She has scored 2 of the Rowan runs. A home run in the first, was driven home in the third. One and one. So a single and a sacrifice bunt has Sims, the catcher, in scoring position for Rowan. Snead underneath this. Graham in right, and tagging up on the play easily is Sims, advancing the 60 feet, now with 2 outs.
And Snead just barely misses this ball. You can see how high the ball travels before it hits Graham's glove. I think if she had gotten a little bit more on top of that ball, we would have seen the second home run of the day for her. Just gets barely under it. But that is a good heads-up play by Sims to advance over to third base and give the Profs a runner on third. We'll see Coach McCreary see if Sims did leave early. You have to wait until that ball touches leather of the defender if you're on the base to tag and then advance, but it looks like that call will stand.
2 outs. Runner on third is Alyssa Sims, led off this inning with a single. Here's Mia Baldessari, who's 1 for 1 with a run scored today, a single and a walk out of the 2 spot. And they'll miss outside. And Rowan surrendered that 1 run to Illinois Wesleyan in the top half of this inning, cutting a 3-run lead down to 2. They have a chance to get it back. Sims on third. Here comes the 2-0 offering. They'll miss 3-1. And our new pitcher this inning is Jenna Noland. Trying to get out of this inning and strand a base runner on third. Pulled down the line, it'll be in foul territory and get down.
Noland was the most outstanding pitcher in their super regional. The senior getting the job done just last week. They've gone to the new format where they mimic the Division I postseason bracket where they have the regional, 4 teams in there, and then go to the super regionals.
Yeah, that change made 2 years ago. Payoff pitch with 2 outs, runner on third, ball 4. Baldessari is on.
Offensive player number
Sims
16,
still at
Ashley
third.
DeYoung.
Here's Ashley DeYoung. A walk and a sacrifice bunt today. The number 3 hitter facing Nolan for the first time today.
DeYoung comes from a family of pretty good athletes. Dad played at Marshall University, a Hall of Fame member there, basketball player. Then mom played basketball as well at Kane University.
So naturally, You have a daughter who plays softball?
Yeah, that's the only way to go.
The count 0-2. Runners on the corners. Off speed, up the middle, knocked down by Chostin, and that's the inning. As Illinois Wesleyan brings Jenna Noland in relief, yesterday's starting pitcher. She faces 5 Profs, strands 2, and posts a 0 in the bottom half of the 4th inning as it remains a 2-run ball game. Titans back at the plate in the top half of the 5th when we come back here on NCAA.com. Titans dancing along to Vanilla Ice's, one of his many hits. I believe this is Ice Ice Baby. Not to be confused with Under Pressure. There is plenty of pressure in this elimination ball game. An elimination ball game between the Profs, who have seen that young lady score twice. First team All-American this year at shortstop. First pitch out towards left. This is going to get over the head of the left fielder, Baldessari. And it'll be a leadoff double. A great start for Sam Goodat.
Oh, the senior jumps on the first pitch of the at-bat, just left over the middle of the plate from Joe Didas and hits the wall. That ball looked like it was not going to carry as much as it did, but a well-hit ball from Goodat and starts the Titans off with a double.
You've got your order. Your number leadoff hitter just doubled. Now your number 2 spot, Laura Bonds, who's 1 for 2 today with a double in the 3rd. She represents the tying run. Could have been a bigger inning last inning for the Titans. Again, stranding runners on the corners.
When it takes you back to that, what was it, 4th inning yesterday against MIT where they had bases loaded. Or sorry, that was the 7th inning. They had bases loaded, nobody out.
No complaints about the 4th inning.
Yeah, seventh inning, bases loaded, nobody out, and just could not produce a run.
They were MIT and Illinois Wesleyan took turns in almost having a lead, only to see different ways of having it stripped away. MIT had a batted ball with 2 on, nobody out, hit a base runner to pull a run back and put the runner back on 3rd. And again, a tremendous defensive play at the plate by MIT kept Illinois Wesleyan from taking an early lead. The 3-1. Count has gone full now to Laura Bonds, facing the freshman Jeditis in the circle. Good at the runner on 2nd. Ball 4. Titans again have the tying run on.
And Goodat started off this inning. First pitch swing, had that double off the left field fence. And then we see Bonds take Joe Didas all the way to a full count.
The left fielder, number 5, Mary Rankin.
Brings up the left fielder, Mary Rankin, who already has a highlight with her glove. See what she can do here with her bat. With 2 on, nobody out. She caught that ball right at the top of the left field wall. Otherwise, it could very easily be 5-1 right now, 6-1 perhaps. As there are a couple of base runners on. And Jeditis will get a visit from her pitching coach. Kat McCreary, one of a couple of head coaches here in Salem this year who played for their teams, for their schools. Again, the best finish that Illinois Wesleyan has had was 3rd place back in 2003, win Kat McCreary was an all-conference catcher for them. She takes advantage of the Rowan timeout. Visit to the circle to talk to her two base runners and the batter, Mary Rankin, who's 0 for 2 today. A double and a walk so far this inning. One run on 6 hits for IWU. The 2-0. That one almost got away completely. Well, you don't want to load the bases for Danielle Smith, the cleanup hitter, who's on deck.
Rankin almost looked like she was surprised that was a strike call, but she squared around for a bunt the entire time.
If you don't pull the bat back, it's a strike no matter what. And this is going to be a foul out. There's out number 1. Yeah, for some reason there's some debate whether that had been a strike previously, but that the barrel of her bat was never retracted. Doesn't matter, a foul out 1 pitch later. So good at holds at second, Bonds on first. Here's Danielle Smith. She represents the go-ahead run at the plate. Second team all-region. She's your top hitter on this team. She'll line out there and a chance for a double play to get out of the inning. The Profs will hang on to their 2-run lead with the 3-1 advantage heading into the home half of the 5th. And we are getting closer and closer to the finish line here in our second elimination game of the day.
That's an unfortunate break if you're the Titans right there. A well-hit ball over the left side of the field. Coyote just heads up play, able to fire that over to her teammate Anderson at second base and get the 3rd out of the inning.
Well, the weather allowed for all 4 games to get in yesterday. We're scheduled to have 4 today, and in anticipation of some storms this weekend, we have doubled the slate for tomorrow. So a chance for some extra sunscreen consumption. The fans making their way out here in Salem. Traditionally, tomorrow is a game or a day with just 2 games full of teams that have suffered losses the opening 2 days. And it's a way to reward the teams that go 2-0 to start. Only 2 teams can go 2-0 in this format.
And that is a tough break. I mean, you get rewarded if you win both first games, but unfortunately, just with the weather coming in, there's really nothing you could do. Now the championship series set to be on Sunday as opposed to starting on Monday.
Well, the one benefit for the teams that are 2-0 would be that the team that they face will have already played that day and will have already played the previous 2 days as well.
So there's a possibility of having 4 games tomorrow and 4 games on Sunday as well, depending on how the bracket turns out.
The only losers in all that, perhaps, are the local hotels. No balls, 2 strikes. Jenna Noland in the circle for her 2nd inning of work, facing Morgan Smith, the cleanup hitter, who had a 2-run double in the 3rd, which right now is holding up as the advantage in this ball game. It's a fly out to left, now 1 for 3 today.
The second baseman, number 13, Carly Anderson.
As Rankin able to squeeze it in. That one a lot easier than her catch at the wall. 5 spot is up, Carly Anderson. Couple of line drives. This one will stay playable in foul territory, and Caulfield is underneath it.
The first baseman, number 25, Damaris Mercado.
Two up, two down, a fly out and a foul out. Here's Damaris Mercado, 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk today. This is a better start than last inning for Noland. Single and a sacrifice bunt. Remember, Rowan stranded 2 last inning.
Yeah, 4. He's using 4? No, he's not. He thinks his ATEM died.
And Noland is getting the pop-ups. 3 of them to the left side. And Jenna Noland has done her job keeping the Titans within striking distance. 5 complete here in Salem. We move on to the top of the 6th. And our designated visiting team today, those Titans, looking to strike again.
40% of NCAA membership schools. Learn more about Division III at ncaa.org/D3. Leading off the 6th for the Titans.
Jedidius got an inning-ending double play on a line-out last inning to eliminate some danger. It's Julie Jostin, the number 5 hitter for the Titans, to face her here in the 6th. Jostin 1 for 2 today with a single, was stranded on 3rd back in the 4th inning. That's when the Titans stranded 2 in scoring position. They did manage to score 1 when Danielle Smith came home on the RBI groundout from Maggie Graham. Graham is scheduled to bat 3rd this inning.
Jostin was one of the members of that all-tournament team in Bloomington this year.
And Illinois Wesleyan was able to host. Again, they beat Hanover, Washington University, and DePauw in the regional in 3 straight games. The Super Regional, hosting Luther College, would go 3. And actually that one on the road. The 1-2 from Jedidius. Jostin wouldn't do her any favors.
Jedidius attempting to get Jostin out with that rise ball up in the zone. Does not get her to bite.
Second baseman Anderson, able to get it there in time. First batter retired.
The third baseman, number 4, Katie Caulfield.
It was a lot closer of a play than I thought it would be. That coming off the bat of Jostin initially. Anderson just kind of sat back on that ball a little bit and didn't charge it much. Made it a bang-bang play.
Got to keep things interesting. Katie Caulfield has reached base twice on shortstop's error and a single most recently, a couple innings back. She bats out of the 6th spot here. She was stranded on 2nd. Would have been the tying run back in the 4th inning. Right now, her Titans down 3-1. That hit the bat and then hit her.
Well, and right there is exactly why most of the teams in even Division I NCAA now regulates a face mask to be on the helmets just for that reason alone, that ball coming off the bat and coming back to hit her in the helmet. I think it did just hit off the helmet and not her face or her neck at all. Yeah, right off that face mask. So good thing for her. Coach McCurry makes them wear those.
One-two to Caulfield. She's in a little less danger with that pitch. the count evens up. Nobody on, one away. It goes full. MIT and Messiah are at the facility. This one back towards left field wall and over the left fielder, Baldessari. It's a one-out double by Caulfield. And she was able to regain her focus a couple pitches later. Get good contact.
And the third baseman reaching base for the third time today. Takes an inside pitch. Is over reaching Baldessari out there, but that's a great job. Only one out on the board. We got a runner at second, runner in scoring position.
Maggie Graham drove home the only run today for the Titans back in the fourth. And Danielle Smith touched. An RBI ground out for Graham. Has a chance to drive home another one here. (2-0), charging is Snead. And over to third, that was a gamble by Caulfield, and it pays off.
A lot of aggressive base running for the Titans here so far today. We've seen them advance on what might have been questionable or close plays, but this little dribbler up to Snead. Snead doesn't even look at the runner. I don't think that's necessary in that instance because she was so close to second base.
Just 2 steps off the bag.
Yeah, but Caulfield showing off her speed, able to get over to third. Doesn't even have to slide.
Well, they can still get out of the inning talking about Rowan. Here with the next batter, Sarah Platt, coming up with 2 outs. The base runner right there talking with her coach and teammate, Katie Caulfield. And the entire infield and battery in the circle right now for Rowan. We have not seen the rally visors from Rowan today. They came out on a couple of occasions against Messiah in that slugfest, but they have led ever since that leadoff home run in the bottom of the first off the bat of Shilah Snead. There was a range of emotions in that one inning in which we saw these 2 teams of Rowan and Messiah. Their opponent yesterday combined for 10 runs. A 9-6 final. The Falcons moving on to play MIT in our next game. Tonight it'll be UT Tyler and Emory in another winner's bracket ball game. Count now 0-2 to Sarah Platt.
Yeah, that was a fun game to end the day last night. 15 runs between the two teams. 6 errors, though. And at this level, at this point in the season, you really cannot afford to give up any free bases or free passes.
Check swing, 1-2. It was Messiah who committed 4 of those 6 errors. That's not usually the recipe for success here in Salem. 1-2. We began this week with 8 teams. We are down to 7. And we are getting closer to trimming it down to 6. Titans will strand Caulfield on third. Still down by 2. As today the home team are those Profs of Rowan.
Joditis going to her screwball. That's a perfectly placed pitch, belt high. Just able to get Platt looking.
Well, a familiar sight this time of year, the banners of the NCAA in Salem, Virginia. It all began back in 1995. And since then, virtually uninterrupted Division II, Division III have alternated over the years, competing for titles here in Salem on the softball diamond. D3 here for a second straight year. Last year D2 was in Oklahoma City. This year they were in Denver last week. And this is a one-pitch at bat for Piote.
The catcher number 3, Alyssa.
Bat just for the
Smith.
second time. Remember, they pinch hit for her the last time around. That's a quick out for Jenna Noland, who has retired 5 in a row now.
And this is an opportunity for Rowan to just get a couple more runs on the board. We've seen the Titans knock on the door. They have not produced the runs that you would have hoped. Only one so far back in the 4th inning. But a couple more insurance runs will never hurt.
Alyssa Sims singled back in the 4th. She was the first batter to face Jenna Noland. Here in the 8th spot of the lineup. You have Sammy Vradenberg on deck in the 9th spot. Here comes the 0-2 offering from Jenna Noland. 1-2. Jostin. A little sidearm toss to Platt. 2 up, 2 down.
The center fielder, number
Noland has a pretty good outing today. I know she started, and with the distance yesterday, she did have 3 walks though. So for her, she really needs to limit those free passes. Just 1 so far since she's came on in relief.
Good at down on a knee. That ball took a high hop, still recovered. But the defense comes through for Noland. No balls getting out of the infield. And the Titans have done themselves a favor. Moving into the top half of the 7th, down to their final 3 outs, keeping it just a 2-run ball game. Some of the folks who have made their way down after cheering on Rowan all year long up there in Glassboro, New Jersey, making their way to the Commonwealth of Virginia here in Salem.
Your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. These changes for Rowan. Moving from
Rowan
center field
is
to left field, number
3
18,
outs
Sammy
away
Vradenberg. Now in the game
from
in
continuing
center field,
on
batting
into
number 2
tomorrow.
spot, number 14, Gianna Janello.
And for Rowan, good news is after Gianna Janello had fallen, we believe, ill just prior to this ball game, she's back in defensively. I believe in center field in her natural spot.
And Sammy Vradenberg actually moves over to left field.
Place the ball to Sari. So the Titans have 3 outs to work with. We say that out of habit. In reality, you have 2 outs to work with. If that 3rd one comes around, that's ball game. Jillian running now the 9 spot. 0-2 count. Snead. And Rowan inching closer. Moving on, we don't know who the opponent would be for the winner of this ball game.
On this chopper over to the left side, shortstop Snead fields it cleanly, fires it over to first base. All-American doing her job with that solo home run back in the 1st inning.
Top of the order, right where you want to be. Sam Goodat is 2 for 3 today, a single and a double.
And after that double, she was on second base when that line drive was hit Danielle Smith, but Piote over at 3rd was able to fire it over to 2nd and double off Goodat. So that was an unfortunate break for the Titans.
Back to Snead. And again to Mercado in time.
The offensive player, number 18,
Rowan 1 out away from picking up its first win in Salem.
And after Snead's error over earlier this game, she's been settling in nicely.
And all the burden now on Laura Bonds. 1 for 2, a double and a walk. Has been stranded twice on the base paths, including when that double play was turned back in the 5th. Bonds, the senior, trying to extend her career. Big cut, evens the count 1-1. Whoever does advance out of this game will play again tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern in what will be referred to as game number 10. They'll face the loser of tonight's nightcap, UT Tyler and Emory. 2 balls, 1 strike. First 2 outs this inning have both been ground outs to the shortstop, Snead. Snead made her impact felt twice today with the first 2 runs scored for Rowan. Line drive off the glove of Snead into center, and the season continues for Illinois Wesleyan. Laura Bonds comes through.
Well, Laura Bonds passing the bat to her next senior, Mary Rankin, but it's a great piece of hitting. Goodness, takes that screwball. Snead almost comes up with that catch. Just knocks off the tip of her glove, but a great, phenomenal diving effort from the shortstop.
And it gives Rankin a chance to shake an 0 for today. 0 for 3 for the second team all-conference left fielder, who is third team all-region this year. First pitch swinging, foul.
And in this lineup, you have 4 seniors in a row, and Goodat, Bonds, Rankin, and then Smith. The only 4 that are in the starting lineup offensively.
And they're all getting a chance to bat. Smith is on deck if her classmate Rankin can come through. It would also mean that Rankin would represent the tying run on board.
Rankin takes a deep breath before she steps into the box.
On the handle, 1-2. Again, this is our only other elimination game today. We'll move on to the teams that celebrated success yesterday. Messiah and MIT coming up next. 2 outs, 1 on for IWU. And this will keep the count at 1-2.
And Rankin doing her best to keep her senior campaign alive right now, fouling off ball after ball. Trying to find a good pitch to hit from Joditis.
Put the charge in that one, but foul. That almost makes it over to the adjacent field. Would have been foul over there also. Not going to leave anything to chance as the catcher Sims goes to talk to Joditis. Neither starting pitchers able to finish this ball game. Instead, right now, that is a freshman with your season on the line in the circle. Runner on first is Bonds. The senior at the plate, 1 swing away from tying it up, but also potentially a swing away from putting it into the year.
And Rankin, you can see bending over, almost going after that pitch.
Could not hold up. The Profs survive and will move on to tomorrow, and you see the immediate emotions kick in on the senior as she and her classmates realize they've played their final game as Titans.
Well, that's unfortunate. IWU with such a great season. They do their best to try to come back, only getting 1 run back in the 4th. But they had 8 hits, just too many left on base. That was the story of yesterday, missed opportunities, and again today. But when you're fighting for your life, ultimately Rowan comes up the hero. This ball on the inside corner going in a screwball looks like a good pitch. Rankin just can't believe her career is over.
Illinois Wesleyan plays 2 games in Salem here in the national championships. Had opportunities in both. But those opportunities slip away when it's all said and done. The Profs certainly can relate after yesterday's game against Messiah. The Profs will move on. Again, they will play tomorrow at 1:30 Eastern against the loser of tonight's nightcap between the Patriots and the Eagles, UT Tyler and Emory. The Profs are lining the line to honor Illinois Wesleyan as they receive their trophies for being among the last 8 teams to make it on to Salem. We are halfway through our quadruple header today here on NCAA.com. When we come back, we will dip into the teams that were victorious yesterday. First up with MIT and Messiah. The Engineers and Falcons collide when you join us just on the other side of 4 o'clock Eastern here on NCAA.com.